Yes, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast, available everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Had a really good conversation with my guy, Call Me Ace. 1 year removed from his last visit to Portland, he was back in the city, performed at the 3-year anniversary of Mic Check. We chopped it up about a lot of things, including his latest release, Airplane Mode, using the platforms that we have, and he even flipped the script on me, man, put me on the spot. It's a really good conversation with one of my favorite MCs. Check it out, the latest episode of Klyph Notes, featuring Call Me Ace. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Acapella Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Acapella, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out acapella.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Boom. And we out here. What it is. Hey, yo. So welcome back, man. It's another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. You got DJ Klyph. Man, it's so dope to have this cat back in the city, have him back on the podcast. Yo, let him know who you are. B.
Yo, what's good? Your boy Call Me Ace, Jamaican from Bridgeport, Connecticut, lived in New York, currently living in the Bay Area. And yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna give him for right now. You don't know, man, callmeace.com. Stop playing with yourself.
That's what's up. That's what's up. How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling, yo.
Yeah?
Yeah, can't complain.
That's
can't
what's
complain.
up, man. You don't even need those. I
realize
those ain't plugged in.
You're not
plugged in.
You're not wearing them.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna wear. Look, so look, I'm gonna tell y'all, yo, DJ Klyph out here with the headphones, you know what I mean, upgrading the podcast game. And I was with it, I want to be with it, but I turned to my left, he ain't even wearing them. So I'm like, I'm out here looking fugazi with them.
Nope.
So nah, yo.
Nope.
Shout out to Sennheiser. I don't even know if I pronounced him right, but it's all good.
I believe that's correct.
Whatever. He ain't wearing them, I ain't wearing them either.
Bruh, so off top.
Facts.
Thank you so much for coming out, B.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We just celebrated the 3-year anniversary of Mic Check.
Crazy.
You came out and rocked it. That means a lot, bro, to have you a part of the legacy, really, because it's your second time rocking Mic Check.
Yeah, no, I'm really thankful to be a part of the fabric of Mic Check, understanding everything that it is for the community, and just thankful that you and Trox and DJ OG1, just believed in me enough to not only have me the first time, but then be with it for me to be back the second time. And yeah, I mean, I definitely feel a different level of love out here in Portland, and just thankful to be a part of the community.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the last time that you were here, sort of how we connected, and then you talked about it at the event, which was cool, man, to let folk know, just the story of how we connected, and man, just the way that you move, I so appreciate, bro. Just your I don't even know the right way to describe it, bro, but it's so real and it's so honest, and I think people have an opportunity to see that in the music that you make, in the things that you do, the access that you give to folk, man. I think that has, in my opinion, goes a long way in helping to get you the level of success that you've had thus far, B.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I don't know how else to do what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't got I'm teaching myself all of this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just being myself. I think the biggest advice that I've gotten across industries and functions and jobs and everything is just be me and be open and all that type of stuff. And so I'm just thankful that in doing that with the music particularly, that there's people that vibe with it and want more of it, and it's less stress for me because it's not like I'm running on stage being somebody that I'm not.
Right,
so
right.
Like I'm just out there, just give me a microphone, I'm gonna just be me on the stage, and that's what it is. So
no doubt,
yeah,
no doubt.
Sure.
So like I said, man, a lot has changed in the year since you were here last.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been tremendous again to watch your journey. So many things to touch on. Let's
14 months.
That's what it's been.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yo.
It's
crazy. Yo.
Golly. I don't like to reflect. Well, I reflect all the time, but
but I think that, and that's what we were talking about before I turned the microphones. Like, I'm in that sort of retrospective place right now. I have a couple years on you though, so you know what I'm saying. I got a little bit more to reflect on.
One or two. I ain't too far behind you.
The progression of your art. One of the things that I was reading the article in the DIY musicians that you did.
My God.
That was great because you really break down your process, and reading it some of it it feels to me like it does kind of pick up where it left off the last time you and I rocked. Casual Fridays.
Yeah.
If people aren't familiar yet, let them know what that is and the genesis of that.
Man, Casual Fridays. It's hard to like say when it's. I mean, I could tell you when it started. It literally started at the beginning of December 2018. But as far as like the impetus for getting it to start, I mean, from the last time that we chatted, there were a bunch of people that was like, oh, create content. And it's like, about what though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just like throw out. There's some people, and like shout outs to them, that could just like throw out random stuff all the time, and like that's the type of content that they want to create. I personally cannot do that. Like, I want to make things that make sense. It could be fun, but it just gotta make sense. So for a minute, I just like didn't know what kind of content to create, but like after a couple conversations, it was just like, yo, like you can freestyle. That's a fact. You can freestyle in your sleep, so it wouldn't be nothing for you to at least freestyle once a week. And then as a part of content, you can record it and just display what you're doing. And an extra level, I was talking to a homie of mine, Lawrence, who he and I work together, and he was like, yo, you like it wouldn't take nothing for you to just like put up a camera in front of you and just start rapping. Like, that's all it needs to take, literally. I was like, I bet. And so by that point, it was like, I put up a camera. I asked for some words on IG at the time. You could like, I think they just recently created like the questions. It's called preguntas in my phone because I speak Spanish. So I don't know what it's like the actual sticker is called.
I think it's Ask Me a Question or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, for sure. It's just preguntas in Spanish. But anyway, whatever. So like that sticker, just asking for like some words. People give some words. And then just off of episode 1 was literally just me. I mean, looking back now at episode 1, it's not trash. I mean, I was still freestyle. I was still, giving my all. But as far as like, as far as, like my Premiere Pro skills and like all that type of stuff, it was very basic. There was no cutting involved. It was just very much like raw, camera in my face, and I'm just rapping with these words. But like that idea, honestly, it was just like, for me personally, and hopefully this speaks to somebody, but it was just like, up to that point, it's not like the act of freestyling with words in my hand was anything new. It was the process of doing something that I haven't done before, in a medium that I wasn't familiar with, doing it myself, and having to go through that process of learning in front of people. Because this is different from like when me starting off with the music, where it's like, oh, I'm like gaining new fans. For me, putting out Casual Fridays, I already had an audience base.
Right.
So people were already aware of me putting out a certain type of quality when it came to like product. And so, for the longest time, I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to create something new, and like I'm an independent artist, I'm basically doing all this myself. So it's like, all right, well, I don't know everything. I don't have the time to like, make this as perfect as humanly possible. So like, I'm not going to do it until I can.
Yeah.
And, my homie was like, nah, yo, just learn through it. Yeah. And so, if you look at episode 1 versus episode 30, which I just dropped yesterday, which is kind of dope. I mean, they're just night and day different. But for the folks, and shout outs to the human beings, whoever y'all are, I know a few of y'all, but as many as y'all are, who's like seen from episode 1 up till now, where it's like, they've seen that growth. Yeah. And, I hope that they appreciate the growth, that they see the evolution, and they understand that like it took time and they can value it. For the people that just jumped on and episode 29, 30, whatever, dope, cool, welcome.
Yeah.
I do this every Friday. But, you know, regardless, it's just like, yo, this is just something that I can do, I want to do, I was inspired to do. It's entertaining for folks. At times I speak about stuff like just in freestyling. I'm sure you're familiar, right? Like just when you get in the zone and you just start talking about stuff, like you talk about some real stuff. So there's times where it's just like in rhyme form, I'm candidly talking about some stuff that can uplift people simultaneously.
Yeah.
You know, I speak about whatever. Right now we're in like themes mode. So in the midst of themes, you know, I can combat like materialism, or I can talk about how much I love freaking sweets and how difficult it is for me to like like weigh a certain amount and like look a certain way when I love freaking candy and like all this, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever, right? And like have fun with it, and as far as like the phrase Casual Friday, I mean, you know, day job flow is just very much in theme. Like
Right.
I still have a day job, yo. Like,
Right.
I'm still doing all this with a job, so yeah, whatever. Tongue in cheek, yo.
But see, I think one of the things that I dig is, so you mentioned, I mean, you are an independent artist, and you've created another avenue to create another avenue to connect with your fan base and grow your fan base by doing this thing that is to a certain degree unique to you because it's been consistent. Like you said, 30 episodes in. I think a lot of us will utilize social media to do a little something, and we do that. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But like you've been doing this consistently, so now people look forward to the next episode, which I think is dope.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that somebody like went out of their way to write was it doesn't feel like Friday until I see Casual Fridays.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like that for me is, I don't even remember what episode that was, but at that point I was like, yo, I can't stop now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I even asked when I hit episode 26, it was like halfway through, I was like, I bet like 6 months, that's enough, right?
Yeah.
And like 95% of the people are like, nah, yo, you gotta go for a year.
Yeah.
They're like, at this point, you're already halfway in, just go the other half.
Right.
I'm like, fam, if y'all only understood, like my Fridays are gone. Not like 100% gone. Like I still, you know, have fun, but it's just like, yo, like I have to, you know, there's a certain chunk of time on my Friday evening after work where it's like, yo, I gotta like sit down. I gotta like look. I don't look at the words beforehand, so I gotta like, you know, set up the stuff and put the camera on, and I turn the camera on and I'm looking at these words and I could be dumb tired. Like there's some episodes I look back now like, yo, I had no energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I did it just off the strength and just like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's easy to be like, yo, keep doing it.
Right,
but
right,
I think simultaneously just seeing the joy that it brings other people is like, I mean, that alone.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I freaking love to freestyle. You know?
Yeah,
Like I did it on Thursday. I might
You
check
did,
that.
absolutely.
Did it earlier today in the bathroom. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Right,
So
right.
It's nothing at the end of the day, but still, I enjoy it greatly, and just to know that other people enjoy it as well is enough for me right now.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to my guy, called me Ace.
Yeah, but we started Casual Friday since the last time I seen you.
It's crazy, bro. So the other thing that's happened since you were here last is you dropped a new project.
I did.
Airplane Mode.
I did. Before I even dropped the new project, so after we talked, because I think we talked in like April or May. Yes,
It was April.
Late April. And then I headlined 2 shows out in the Bay Area, which is dope.
Yeah.
Booked those myself.
Which is again,
Dope.
we're talking about independent artists, B.
Yeah, man.
Like the stuff that you were doing solo.
God's merciful.
Word up. So not necessarily solo, because you do have some divine assistance.
Yeah.
And then you got family assistance as well, just in terms of the support.
Chill, y'all.
But
I got backup.
But you've done things solo that cats do with a team.
Yeah, yo. If you want to join the Call Me Ace High Grade Society team, by all means, just let me know. For sure.
But you booked 2 shows, did 2 shows in the Bay.
Yeah. And then October. So I dropped Airplane Mode, and before even dropping Airplane Mode, so like August was my last like headline and show, and I was like, I bet, let me chill a little bit, let me regroup. Early October, a producer homie of mine, J Dot, who produced Mercury and Day Job Flow, He was going to a beat battle in Florida, and he was like, yo, I got some beats that I'm gonna be using for this competition. I was like, oh, like send those my way. Like I'd be curious to listen to them. Not thinking nothing of it. I think around that same time he sent me something where I wrote, it ended up being 5:15 a.m. and wrote that. But I'm just listening to these beats, not really thinking nothing, not trying to like make a project. It was just like I was actually just trying to chill and just like strategize. You know? My aunt suddenly passed away in mid-October. And so I was pretty lost. She is the one that really helped me to get into music, specifically hip hop music. Both her and my sister, like my sister and I grew up, like me and my sister, we like rap DMX together and like, you know, Busta Rhymes and stuff. And like my aunt was the one that like, between her and my mom was trying to get me on like different type of music. My aunt is like OD been hip hop and like was the one, like I got my Snoop Dogg tape from her and like all these things. This is the reason why like I grew up just loving Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean? So like this woman, this figure who told me to learn something new every day before she dropped me off to school at this primarily Caucasian institution, and was like, understand the value of why you're here, who you are, and ensure that you are basically reaping what you can on a daily basis from these places. Like these things that have been instilled from me from when I was young, you know, passes away, and I just lost it. So over the sequential 14 days, those same beats that my homie was using for the beat battle were the same beats that I was using just for cathartic expression. Still not thinking nothing of it. There's no, as somebody that likes to plan, I had no plan. I was just like, I just need to talk, I need to express, I need to share these thoughts that are in my mind. And one song led to another, did another. I hit him up like, you know, 3 days later. I was like, yo, can you send me more beats? Because all the beats that you sent, I wrote to them. Send me more beats. And like, yo, can you send me more beats? Like the next day. Because I wrote to all of these. He sent me more beats to the point where, yo, real talk, like J Dot hit me. He was like, bro, like I need a couple days to create something. Because I have no more beats left. And so just to get to that, you know, 2 weeks later, had a slew of music written to, recorded, Some of them, it was just like, you know, one verse or whatever. Some of them was like multiple verses, etc. And I'm playing them to him, and he's like, yo, we could like do something with this. I'm like, I bet. You know, what to call it, blah, blah, blah. Who to get on it. But that's how the kernel of Airplane Mode even started. As far as, you know, how the name got together, the meaning for Airplane Mode for me, there's like 3 levels to it. One is just the fact of like I just mentally was dazed. I just could not pay attention to anything that was really going on. And so, you know, in those moments, you know, I would be writing music on my way to work, as I'm on my way to the gym, as I'm at the gym, in between meetings, like all these different things, just whenever I could, just in order to like function during the day, I needed to write. That's one thing. Another level is just like, you know, I truly do believe in function as a global citizen. Just being a first generation Jamaican American, being someone who with my wife has seen, you know, about 100 international cities across 50 countries. You know, right before then, around that same time that I was headlining shows in the Bay, my wife and I was also in Tokyo and Hong Kong and Bangkok, and I was making new fans there. I made fans in New Delhi where like they don't even use Spotify, they use Google Play and YouTube, you know, and so like making fans out there, and just like, yo, like if they're vibing with me, like I did an interview in Tokyo, freaking Akihabara, I think, you know what I mean, just like and now I have like Japanese fans, and so it's just like, yo, there's levels to it. It's like, yo, I don't have to just rap as if I'm just representing like, you know, Bridgeport, Connecticut, or Berkeley, California, or like even the United States. Like it could just be so beyond. So like that mindset, you know, a couple months before all this happening was infused already in my who am I as an artist and who am I as a person? And then just, thirdly, just the fact that like my career as a musician was on the rise, right?
Yeah.
Like, airplane mode right before you take off, like you gotta put your phone on airplane mode, right? We finna take off. And so just all of that combined is what really embodies that entire project. And then I just started reaching out to some artists that I felt like would resonate on certain types of songs, and they agreed to it, and the rest is history.
That piece in particular, but the idea of reaching out to folk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the majority of what we've heard from you. That's not the norm.
Yeah. My fans definitely know that. Like I didn't. I mean, and I'm that person where I'm very used to doing things myself.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that I have to be that way. And I think that part of that was a coping mechanism for survival.
Mm-hmm.
My father used to say growing up that survival is the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as immigrant kids, like that's just all we know is like to survive. And like, you can't really trust people when it comes to survival.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the mentality that I've had for like a really, really long time. But, what I see, especially now in the privileged environment that I have, where I don't have to just live to survive. Like I have the privilege of choice. Like I can choose to do more. I can choose to impact my community.
Right.
And think more than just myself. And when I see people that are doing that type of stuff, they work in teams. They work in units.
Right.
And so that mentality has been something that I've been growing more and more into. And especially after my aunt passing away, where it's just like, what can I do to empower my family? Mm-hmm. What can I do to empower my community in a way that's just more than me? Because you don't know when you're going to see people the next time.
Right.
And so it's just like, what are we doing? And it's more than just what I can do. It's like, what can we do? Mm-hmm. And so just that mentality was really infused into this project. And so it was very much just like, like I can't, for the messages that I'm trying to push through in this project, like I can't do it by myself. Mm-hmm. Like I just have to be honest with myself. Yeah. So it's dope. Shout outs to everybody that's on the project.
That's what's up, bro.
Chris O'Bannon, Priceless The Rock, Kayla Love, Jared Sanders, Servine Singh, Mick Jenkins, Ian Kelly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody.
That's dope, bro. And the project charted.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. I said, I looking back now, I think it's crazy. Like if I look at like texts and messages and stuff, like I was audaciously like, I want this to hit Billboard charts. And it did. And I'm thankful. It is what it is. It's one of those things where like you have it and you're like, cool.
Right.
Like like it should not change who I am as a human being.
Right.
First of all, you know what I mean, whether or not I got it, and the Lord really brought me to that point where the week when it dropped, it was like potentially a possibility that it would not hit.
Yeah.
So for those that are not familiar with this process, I was new to it. I'll tell you because I don't think it's a big deal, but like the folks at Billboard will like reach out to you if like there's a potential of you hitting.
Oh, word.
And I guess if it's like a guaranteed hit, like they'll just tell you straight up, like you're gonna hit.
Yeah.
This is like where you'll probably be. But for me, it was like, oh, you might hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I think Nav was like dropping around the same time, like a couple other folks, and like you might hit.
Yeah.
But just like give us all your information just in case. And it was like, I bet. But internally, just in prayer and just like figuring out like where my heart was in the situation, I spent 3 months or 2.5, whatever months, as part of the marketing promotion, doing like real one-on-one groundwork interactions with people, like real individuals that I knew rocked with me as a person and rocked with me as a musician. It was like, yo, like this is the goal. Like I didn't buy 100 albums for myself kind of thing. It was like, nah, like these are going to be individuals. And this is the goal, and like please share it and purchase or whatever. And like in it was 2019, yeah, it's just like people buying music is just not a thing.
Right.
And so there is like that layer to it and all this type of stuff. And so to even get the folks that did purchase was cool. But in that moment where it's like, oh, you might hit, just really like seeking the Lord to be like, yo, if I don't hit, what will happen? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
It's like, I dropped a project. You know what I mean? I dropped a project with my heart in it. And like, for those that listen to it, like I have a whole song. There's a song, the first song that I wrote on the project, outside of like Positive Vibes 2 was a song that I wrote beforehand, that we just like resurfaced because it's just like, yo, it's time to like bring this out. 515 I wrote like a week before, but just like within the same like time frame. But outside of those, Hope You Hear Me, the song about my aunt passing away, like that song I wrote the day, like the hour of her passing away.
Wow.
And that song is literally like, the whole album is like based around it. The whole album is based around it. And so like at the very like, people have hit me up and it's like, yo, that song, like you have no idea what you did at that song. Like that song is helping me right now, or like that song like reminds me of things that I've been going through and etc. And like for folks to connect with that on like an existential level, it's like, what's the worst thing that could happen if you don't chart? Like you've touched people's lives, and isn't that what you're here to do? And so, getting to that point of like, like regardless of if I hit it or whatever, like I know I set out to do this, but like this thing won't define me. For me to get to that point, I was like, that's cool,
right?
But like I'm already leveled,
right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
I'm still me. Like you can still run up on me, you can still have real conversations, etc.
Yeah.
I am thankful for it, but it is. I just pray that it becomes the key for more conversations and more opportunities for the next thing,
right?
To enable for a bigger platform to continue to share the message and exemplify the very thing that I've been trying to do since 2016.
Yeah. Well, it's so cool to for you to be able to express it that way, because at the end of the day, I think that ultimately that's what we all want. I think sometimes two things can happen. One, the reason for doing that can be different. You want big platforms because you have, like you said, you have something to say.
I believe.
And the bigger the platform you have, the more people that are available to hear that message, right?
Yeah, that's the logic. Yeah.
So some people say, I want a bigger platform because I'm trying to get certain things, and in order to get these things, I need a big platform. So different perspective,
like money?
Like money. You know what I mean?
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? Anything materialistic.
I'm not. This is not me stunting.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me flexing for anyone. But like I'm good on that right now.
Word.
You know what I mean? And that's by God's grace. Like just with the corporate job that I have, like I'm not currently making like groundbreaking like bank account moves with the things that I'm currently doing.
Right.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting it to, in a way where like, I'm not pressuring my 5-year-old kid to be the next like Ronaldinho.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not what I'm doing with the music.
Mm-hmm.
Believing that it will become something that is bigger than what it currently is definitely the desire that I have, for the very reasons that you said.
Right.
But like I'm not trying to milk it for, things other than what's everlasting.
Right.
Because all that stuff will fade away.
Word
and
up.
like honestly, I could stop doing music right now and on a personal selfish complacency level be very straight. And so me staying up till 1 a.m. 2 a.m. making music and recording is not because I'm trying to be richer. It's because there's people that are literally, I was just saying this the other day, somebody 2 weeks ago came up to me in the office, which is crazy by the way, because another thing that happened since the last time I was talking to you is like, yo, I've just been an artist at my job. Like, yes, I have a job and like I do my job.
Right,
Let's
right.
not get it twisted, but it's just like I'm also very much like an artist as much as I am, a marketer. And so, people are just well aware that I'm a rapper. And a couple weeks ago, somebody came up to me and was like, yo, like, you're ace. I saw that you posted about your album and it hit Billboard. And so I listened to it. And as I was listening to the words, I was like, yo, you are literally speaking my life in an articulate way. If I were to articulate the thoughts that I have, they would be your lyrics.
Wow.
And like, you can't stop because you are giving me the voice that I felt like I couldn't express. And I was like, yo,
That's
like
powerful.
we work in the same place and you're telling me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the mindset that I'm on. So it's like, yeah, like to your point, it's like, no, I'm not, if that stuff comes, it comes, and that's dope.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's, look.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm seeking. I'm not, like, chasing for, like, if I was really chasing it, I would stop doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it take money to make money. And right now, like, it's taking a lot. Like,
I hear you,
I
brother.
could look. I said,
you.
what? 100 cities?
Yeah.
I could make that 200.
Right.
If I just cut this out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
And so
right.
it's like, I'm doing this for, like, the opposite reasons. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for others. I'm doing it because, like, I see the joy that people have. I mean, you know, the show on Thursday, right? Like, people was in it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing it for.
That's what's up. And that's another thing, man. When I was letting folk know about the event and that you were coming, that you were going to perform, and I said that, you know, you put on one of the best shows. Like, that's real, bro.
I screenshot that.
That's real, bro.
I need them to bury me with that.
but so like, keep it 100, bro. Like, having the opportunity to curate, and understanding, because at one point I was an artist and I realized you don't come into the situation knowing, like, how to perform.
That's very
But
true.
I feel like you're an artist that I think artists, as well as fans of hip hop, that artists should see perform, because from the time, like, from when the first beat drops until the end of your set, you are 100% engaged, and the audience is 100% engaged with you. And that's not necessarily the norm. And I see, and people can see through your set, and I don't want to give too much away because I want y'all to see this man do his thing. But, like, I can tell that you read the room like a DJ. You know when to step off stage and physically engage with people, and when to be on stage. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you really put on an amazing show, and I think that goes a long way in people remembering who you are. So then when you, again, big picture, it's all about the big picture, right? People are not going to forget Call Me Ace because of what you do, and then they will engage with you through the art that you release. And then as they engage with you, then you're going to potentially have the interactions that you just spoke of with your coworker, because they enjoy the entertainment, but then they sat with the music and then they heard the message. And I don't think everybody gets that. I think oftentimes the idea is, I want the stage, I want the lights, where I'm a human being. There's a certain amount of ego that's just within me, and feeding that ego is a part of why I do what I do. And I think you show that it doesn't have to be at the forefront.
Yeah.
Making a difference, making an impact in whatever way, with whomever is in my circle of influence.
For sure.
I can do that, and then celebrate the achievements that we celebrate when we're in this industry. My album charted. You know, I just think I'm in a place in my life where I feel like we should celebrate people when they're doing good things, doing positive things. And so, you know, I want to just express that to you. I appreciate the way that you move.
I appreciate
And
you.
it's really easy, I think, to hit that certain level of success and then make that left turn. And everything that you've expressed thus far, you're saying, nah, it's not what it's about. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Seriously. Yeah, I don't want to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just having this conversation earlier today, about how, you know, when I was in 6th grade, and I wanted to code. I wanted to make websites and video games on calculators, and I was doing these things, but as a result of it, I was an outcast, and I also didn't look like everybody else. I also wasn't, like, I'm short, you know what I mean? So, like, I wasn't the basketball you know what I mean? All this stuff. And so, like, I was the outcast. And then once I started, you know, I was doing poetry. Once I turned the poetry into music in high school, and then started performing that, and I made, like, skits, like, to make people laugh, and just seeing how like people switch, and I went from being the outcast kid to like the cool kid.
Right.
I was like, I'm the same person though. You know what I mean? I'm literally the same person, and just watching people change, like, and so, you know, that goes back to like the whole like do I trust people kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you know, people only like what they see.
Right.
So I'm very aware of that. But, you know, I like, yes, I want to empower, and I want to uplift, and I want to encourage and inspire and motivate people. But like, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to please people. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that my calling is so much higher than that. And so, you know, I could be doing the same exact thing and people be like, yo, that's whack. Like, I don't want to be encouraged. I want this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, that shouldn't change my mission.
Right.
You know? And so, I'm very thankful, and I do consider myself blessed that there are people that are being affected. But I also know that like, there's a bunch of people that are looking at me and they're just like, I don't understand.
Right.
Or I don't want that.
Right.
And, or you're, you know, all that's well and good, but your Instagram followers aren't at a certain level, so we still don't care. And it's just like, yo, if my Instagram account was at a high enough level where you then decided to care, that's not going to change me. That's just going to make me realize how fake you are.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that I continue to have. Like, you know, I'm the first one to go to Ivy League school in my family. Like, no one's out, like, to even do that, and to see how other people, oh, he went to Ivy League school. I was like, yo, if you only knew like the struggle that I had in the school alone, that's one thing. If you understood how like still imperfect I am, regardless of the fact that I went to that school, that's another thing. But then going through that, you know what I mean? Going to business school, going to, you know, the places that I've worked in these Fortune 500 companies and all this stuff, and be like, oh my God, look at his resume. It's like, yo, but like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you care who I am?
Yeah.
And that's easy to assess. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. I ain't gonna speak for everybody.
Yeah.
For me, shout outs to the Lord and discernment.
Yep.
I discern who people are, and it is what it is. You know, you keep people at a certain distance, and you just keep moving.
And that's one of the things I think is kind of dope. And this is just, you know, from my perspective, having the sort of moving that way where you realize you really can't trust people, and not that's something that's universal or you know, living life in that negative space, but that we are all fallible. And I think even oftentimes people who come across with good intentions, we're all fallible.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what I say in the beginning of Airplane Mode.
Yeah.
I say so High Grade, which is a nickname that I gave myself because Ace, and you know, Ace High Grade. Maybe that doesn't make sense to people, but yeah, hopefully it makes sense. And so I went to school, y'all, so that's just what it was. It was a high grade to get an ace. And so it's like, you know, over time, I think I said like a couple years ago, ACE, they call me high grade, whatever. And so that's just what I want to run. But it was like, you know, high grade, too high, still I'm a flawed being. Don't look up to me because people change like summer, winter, fall, spring. Like, that's how I start off the first track of the whole album, where it's just like, even with, and it's a leitmotif that I've used continuously throughout that entire album, where it's like, just because I'm at a certain spot or I look like a certain thing, and you know, I was calling it into existence, like Airplane Mode, like, yo, we're gonna rise, we're gonna hit these numbers, we're gonna do this, but like, don't let that make you think that I'm any better than you.
Right.
Don't make that think that I'm infallible or any of that, because we all mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're all imperfect, and this stuff is just stuff. Like, don't look at the glory and not understand people's story. And all I'm trying to do is share this story.
That's what's up. Chop, my guy, called me Ace in here, rocking the Airplane Mode tee. I see you. I see you. Got the merch going.
I rock it at work too. Shout out to my coworker who saw me wearing the tee, and she was like, "What tee is that?" I was like, "This is my tee." She was like, "I want that tee," and she bought the tee.
That's what's up.
She bought the tee.
That's what's up, man.
Yo,
you gotta definitely gotta appreciate people who are doing their own things, man. I want to take a second, right quick. Speaking of that, to once again give a shout out to an organization or a group or a company that's been in support of the Klyph Notes podcast for a minute. Shout out to my folk over at Acapella Apparel.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the Portland tee right now, man. The Made in Oregon tee from Acapella Apparel, man. You should check them out at the website acapella.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Get fitted up with fresh tees and hoodies and all kinds of tasty treats, man. Support the supporters for real. Acapella Apparel. So the album is out. You've been promoting it for a minute, doing your things, doing shows. And you know how we are, man. We're in a society where it's what's next. Now I will say that before I let you go on there, I encourage people to sit with the project, because to me, Airplane Mode is one of those projects where you go back and listen to it again and you hear something new in it, because there's some depth to the project. I think that the project is a really cool balance of great music and artistry and a little bit of braggadocious, which I think is cool. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hip hop. You know what I mean? Like one of my favorite joints. I love Gray Skies, but one of my favorite joints is Mr. UN, because that's the one that I feel like is like, yeah. Call me Ace, B. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I encourage people to sit with it, man. Go back and listen to it. It's a fun project, but there's definitely some depth to it. We talked about how you're an independent artist. You've done this in a way different than a lot of artists who are making music right now. Do you feel like that will continue to be the way that you move, or do you feel like you really want to grow a team, or you feel like, you know what, I'm successful doing it this way for the reasons that you've talked about, just keep moving this way?
Yeah, I think if I want to scale, any business that wants to scale definitely needs to grow in their resources and then optimize those resources in a way where they can scale exponentially versus linearly.
Yeah.
And I think that if I were to do the same thing that I'm doing right now, I would get the same results, if not maybe diminishing returns. And so I'm not going to have the mindset of, I could grow myself, and I've already been in conversations with folks of like getting the team together to scale, so that's definitely happening. I think that right now, I mean, at the end of the day, having autonomy and creative control are two of the biggest things that I care about. I'm not looking to have my face on everything if I don't own anything. That just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I've been I've been taken out of my class in the middle of class to go take the picture where I could be the person on the picture. Do you know what I'm really talking about?
I do.
So I don't need that anymore. Right. I've had that experience.
Right.
I've had the my face is everywhere.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Right.
I was 12.
Yeah.
So I don't need that no more.
Right.
I understand the fruit or lack thereof of certain experiences like that, and I shout outs to my wife being a lawyer, where I say in Young Gifted, my wife is a lawyer, she's literally a lawyer, and she just makes sure that whatever contracts or agreements I'm in are legit. So I don't gotta be dumb in these conversations.
Right.
And so it's I want to move smart. I'm not opposed to partnerships. They just gotta be smart partnerships.
Word.
And partnerships that are actually not partnerships and are really just ownership. Those are not the type of conversations that I think I will ever want to be a part of.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Your moves are educational in such a big way, and I think if folk are interested, and I know a lot of artists here in Portland who are working independent and trying to make moves, and who are at places in their career where they are open to guidance and education and knowledge and mentorship, and everything that you've done thus far, you've actually created an avenue to be those things for people. Without saying, okay, here's my telephone number. If people want to get that now, like I said, I was reading an article that you wrote where you really broke down the process of airplane mode. A lot of what you talked about here. What's the best way for people to tap in to see, all right, Ace has put it out there. Let me go and
rewind this podcast, man. I be trying to give it to you. Look, I'm not joking, but look.
That's what's up.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I try to be open, man. Yeah, and just social media, just let me know. I mean, I want to give. I like to give, and definitely a case by case basis. But yeah, call me Ace Legit. That's my IG.
Super active on Instagram.
Yeah, for real. Just hit me up. It's call me Ace and then legit, like LEGIT. And yeah, just hit me.
That's what's up. Got the website.
Yeah, callmeace.com.
Got the merch.
Yeah, facts.
Go cop that.
Yeah, Airplane Mode, High Grade Society. Yeah. I think I'm an open book.
Yes, he is. He is very much so, people. Very much so. Okay, so then what is next? What's the next move?
Assuming that I don't have any like life altering situations in the next year that force me to go into a cocoon and create things. Have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have some fun. Yeah, tears are coming to my eyes. I think about how this very moment that I'm in right now is the very moment that I wish I could share with my aunt. And I know she's proud, and I know that I'm moving forward in a way like these doors are opening, and they're not even because I'm trying. So like I just want to keep moving through it, moving forward, tap into my Jamaican roots, go a little international. Ya tu sabes, mira, pa arriba, eso.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I don't know what you said, but yes, I agree, 110%. Yo, let me say this, B, and it's cool to have the opportunity to say this publicly to ears, man. And I know I can speak for O because for OG1. We had this conversation prior to mic check, and we were just chopping it up before things kicked off. He and I both have conversations constantly. We have been gifted platforms, OG, obviously the platform of being the DJ for the Portland Trailblazers, and so he plays in the Moda Center. Yeah. I have the radio show.
I'm so thankful, by the way. I just want to say it on the podcast. I'm so thankful, DJ OG1, again, that you played 5:15 a.m. in the Portland Trailblazers Stadium. That's crazy. I'm humbled. I'm thankful for you, DJ Klyph, and you, DJ OG1, for using y'all's platform to advance the next generation of artists in your spheres of influence. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Dope. But thank you,
Anarini Mondo, yo, seriously,
for
MVP.
But you create the art for us to share, bro. I mean, and that's the thing, man. Look, we both get inundated with music from artists, and understanding, again, you're at a place in your career where you've been able to work through and have an understanding of, okay, this is how I package something, this is how, and I think I said this on the last podcast, like just our interactions, bro. I mean, you didn't come across with, yo, I've got X number of streams on Spotify, check me out. Like, no, like we had a conversation, we built a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Do people come at you like that?
Bruh.
Okay.
Come on,
it's good. Look, awareness is key, and I was very ignorant to that fact.
Man, but I think a lot of it is because we live in a world where our
could buy that
values,
stuff.
you know, yeah, absolutely, and that's what we value, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So you know, the art that you make, the way that you present the art makes it very, very easy for us to use the platforms that we have to share that with the masses. So a lesson to other artists out there, you know, think about where you want to be, think about where you want to go, and then learn what it takes to get there. And I think that will get you a long way, a lot quicker than just what you think you see. You know, I often think about the Roots, man, what they do. You know what I'm saying? Go back and listen to that joint, watch the video, and realize that everything that you see is not absolutely real. And you know, we just gotta do better. We just gotta do better as a people. We gotta do better as a culture. We gotta do better as an art form. We just gotta do better.
It's so I agree.
Yeah, bruh, this was good, man.
I before look you hit an intonation in your voice that sounded like we was done. So before we actually finish, I want to know selfishly, where is mic check going?
Man,
3 years strong. That was this past Thursday. Dope. Thankful again.
Yes.
Where walk through. Let the people know some thoughts on your mind.
Yeah,
as
man.
far as where you at and where we going next.
You know, it's been really,
dang,
really
interesting. Y'all saw how I became the host,
right? Exactly. Flipped it right quick.
Wow.
Judo.
Quick. Judo DJ Klyph. Don't hurt me, y'all. Dang, it was just a question.
You know, it's been. I'm gonna tell you. So whoever didn't make it out to mic check, you know, I made the announcement that exactly.
Oh, okay.
First up, you should have been there. You know, I made the announcement that the 3-year anniversary is going to be the second to last show. The next mic check is going to be August the 29th. Yeah. Super excited to have Jay Jury headline that one. Cam Archer is coming up from Inland Empire.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a dope situation. A local MC, Rambo Rich, and then a young producer, Beats Bashi. Yeah, cool cat, man. We're gonna do that one in August, man, and then Mic Check is going on hiatus. And I'm saying hiatus because Mic Check will always be here. It'll never go away. But I shouldn't say Mic Check's going on hiatus. The Mic Check series that we've been doing bi-monthly now is going to go on hiatus. You know, if I look back, it's crazy, bro. I said this to you at the event. Yeah, it's really crazy. You've done Mic Check twice. And both times that you did Mic Check were very significant nights. So a year ago when you came through and you did Mic Check, the guy whose idea it was to do the situation, Star Child, was the day he passed.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yes, absolutely. And when Star passed, I was like, okay, that was cool, man. We're done. And OG hit me, and OG was like, man, we got to keep doing it. Like, we got to keep the legacy alive. And people probably know, you know, my role with Mic Check was really to help curate the event. You know, the avenues that I have, specifically with the radio show, I had access to a lot of artists, and I was cool being behind the scenes. You know, let Star handle really all the business stuff, let Trox handle all of the music stuff, in terms of being the DJ for the event, and I just wanted to support. And the last year, because it was a year in April since I really took it over, has been very enlightening, and I've had an opportunity to see a part of promotion and curating that's different from what I do with the radio show and the podcast. And it's been educational. It's been really, really trying to a great degree, mentally and emotionally. And to have the heart to serve others and to provide for others, and not realizing that along with that, I actually have certain expectations. You know, you feel like if I provide a platform, especially a platform that's been asked for, I did not mean to get into all of this, B.
Nah,
I did not even mean to go here.
Nah.
But since we talking about it,
you.
It's sometimes it was hard, bro. You know, you think there's been conversations about the lack of support for hip hop, specifically in Portland, Oregon. And shout out to McMenamins, man. McMenamins saw that was happening, and they said, "Hey, we have these venues. We don't know exactly what to do. What can we do?" And they have gifted us specifically with the White Eagle, but McMenamins as a whole, and we put this thing on, and sometimes the crowds were there and engaging like they were for the anniversary show, and sometimes not. And understanding that there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the city, a lot of events. But even
like
with
Portland
that,
hip hop in itself is burgeoning.
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my
like,
gosh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like last year when I came, it was like one or two artists that like people outside of Portland knew about, and I feel like now it's definitely like like everyone's right. And I honestly like I don't know everyone's individual stories,
right.
but just seeing what you and DJ OG1 have been doing behind the scenes in order to really like levitate everyone. I mean, shout outs to y'all. So like in a way, it's like Portland hip hop is growing as a result of what y'all is doing, which like creates this like optional like I can go to this or I can go to that or I can go to that, like, so that's dope.
And it's that's been like, bro, that's been such a cool blessing. I gotta give love to, and Versatile, who headlined, mentioned it that night. He said, man, like Portland hip hop has been here.
Truth. Shout out to Versatile, by the way.
Oh my gosh, man,
real cool.
Right?
Real cool.
Right?
Yeah.
But big ups to Klyph Notes, who's been representing the Portland hip hop scene literally all over the planet for years with the Northwest Breakout Show and Just Family Entertainment. Shout out to my guy Max Smith, who does the Thesis, which is another monthly hip hop showcase. And there are other events, Thirsty City, and local labels who are doing things. Our goal was always to be the Lyricist Lounge of Portland. Our goal was always to promote the art of lyricism, and we tried to book acts who I feel fit that mold, acts like yourself and Versatile, Chappelle. I mean, like the cats who were there for the 3-year anniversary, cats who, like, if you look at our past lineups. But I also want to be sure that as we are using these platforms, as we're presenting these platforms, that we're doing it in a way that is true to the culture, that truly represents what we're trying to do. And, taking an opportunity to step back, reassess, reevaluate, and really make sure that we are putting our best foot forward. To a great degree, that's what the hiatus is about. I know I went on a rant about not being supported, but again, human, ego, whatever.
I'm not accepting any apologies for the frailty of your life, DJ Klyph.
But true, like to keep it 100, bro. It's a lot of work, man. And like you, God has gifted me with a 9-to-5 and a family, and you want to be sure that everything that you do to the highest degree. And so that's what we want to do, man. We want to make sure that everything that we do in such a fashion. So the series is going on hiatus, and hiatus means that there's a really good chance it will come back. But Mic Check as a unit, as a thing will still exist. I mean, I think people can look forward to Mic Check Presents events. We'll look to provide platforms for album releases, artists who want to come and rock in Portland from out of the city. Call me Ace.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. How
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
y'all thought it was just him talking, huh? Look at it.
So, the website will still be up. Between Trox, OG1, and myself, there will still be things that we'll do to provide these platforms for the local scene. But just that series for now will go on hiatus, and we still want people to connect with Welcome to the Neighborhood, with Klyph Notes, with In These Streets, and with the Groove Theory Mix Show. Trox just released his beat tape, and he's going to be doing some crazy things with some of the things. So there's a lot that's still happening.
Yeah, y'all still finna be active.
Like to a certain degree, even
you're not just gonna leave for 5 months to go to Hawaii and kick it, relax, rejuvenate, reflect on life.
To a certain degree, even more active to a certain degree. So. Dang. It's still it's still about Northwest Fresh, man. It's still about repping the Northwest. It's still about PDX hip hop and
speak that slang.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, man. That's that's what's happening with it. That's what's happening with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have no further questions.
That's what's up.
Thank you
Now he done put me on the spot now. Look, but you know what? See, I still got to go edit it. I might just edit all of that out.
Don't do that.
Hey man, they might not even hear none of that. My dude.
Dang, when you think you have the power.
Right. Nope. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate our relationship, bro. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you're one of those people who I feel like it's real easy to reach out to you and you're always there, and I think that I'm looking forward to our relationship continuing to grow. I'm looking forward to continuing to use my platforms to promote and support everything that you're doing, and I appreciate your heart, bro. I appreciate the consistency, and just grateful that you are as open and willing to share that with the masses. So thank you. Big ups to you for that. For 100%.
Real. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
seriously,
man.
You reached out to me. That's how the whole relationship started. So I appreciate you. Seriously.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. And I appreciate Wifey for letting you come up here.
Hey, listen, if y'all thought I was just out here finessing my way into a podcast episode with DJ Klyph, y'all tripping, okay?
Right.
I got a wife.
Right.
If you are married, then you understand what that means. And if you don't, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Look, bro. And while I'm giving I shout out to my wifey for letting me come out here. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the wives out
Shout out to wives all around.
Letting their husbands.
You know what I'm saying?
Be out and about.
Exactly.
Look,
exactly.
Nah, but real talk. Yeah,
that's what's up, man.
My wife says hi for real.
Word up. Call me Ace, man. Call me Ace legit on Instagram. CallMeAce.com. Check them out. Support them. And just continue to support good people doing good things. Yeah. All right, y'all. That's it, man. That's another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Remember, you can check it out everywhere you listen to your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or you can just go to www.klyphnotes.com. You can reach out to me if you have questions about the podcast, suggestions for artists. You can hit me up at klyphnotes@gmail.com and subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friends to subscribe to the podcast. Let's continue to use these platforms to support good people. For real. All right, y'all. Until we have an opportunity to do this again, y'all be blessed. Peace. Y'all, I hope y'all dug that, man. This latest episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Shout out to my guy, Call Me Ace, for coming through. I got to give a couple shout outs right quick, man. Thank you so much to X-Ray FM for their continued support of the Klyph Notes podcast by being gracious hosts of the recording of the podcast. To my folk over at Acapella Apparel for their continued support of what we do, man. Please go and check them out at acapella.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Let's support the supporters, y'all. And last but definitely not least, big ups to my homie who did the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast, my guy, producer extraordinaire, Theory Has It. Yes, y'all. So stay tuned, man, for more great episodes, great conversations. Subscribe to the Klyph Notes podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Yo, a couple things, man. You could check me out if you want to see me do my thing live. I'm going to be over at Chinatown Meet. It's going down on July the 7th. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's going to be a bunch of great local producers there of great apparel, man. Come check us out, man, in the parking lot across from Dead Stock Coffee in Portland. That's going down on July the 7th. And then a special gift, man, to my listeners, man. If you want to try to win something from me from the 3-7 limited collection, just hit up the email klyphnotes@gmail.com. That's klyphnotes@gmail.com. And you go in the running for a free gift from me, your guy, DJ Klyph. All right, y'all. Until we have an opportunity to do it again, God bless. Peace.